And here is my completed bathroom. That looks a whole lot... Hello! That looks a whole lot better, doesn't it? The painters came back, as promised, for day 7 of rebuilding this bathroom here. The stipulation for the landlord during the Inquisition was that he needed to redo the bathroom and redo the gas fire thing in the bedroom, and he needed to do it by the end of this year. Now, although this process has taken, in fact, 3.5 weeks, it's well within time limit, and only 7 work days have been spent on it. The first 5 were to strip the walls, to remove the toilets and all the utensils around here, remove everything, remove the tiles, remove everything, and then basically to rebuild it by putting in new utensils, new tiles, and replastering the walls, and that took place over the first 5 days. And then the builder said, oh, and that, which is the ventilation system. Then the builder said, look, we must wait for the plaster to dry, and we're going to wait for 2 weeks, because I wouldn't allow them to have the heater on, because it costs me too much, and they weren't prepared to foot the bill. And so we waited 2 weeks for it to dry out. So there was 2 weeks of nothing. And then this week they said, look, we're ready to paint. It's going to be a 2-day job. We'll come in the first day, we'll paint. When that's dry, we'll come in the second day, repaint it, and that will be it. The one thing that they haven't done is the floor. Now, the floor actually was in a stipulation of mine at the Inquisition, but it wasn't something that was agreed upon by the landlord. As you can see, it's now ill-fitting because basically they've had to put in some of these utensils, and they're not quite as the same size. I'm actually not really bothered about it. I mean, it still covers the floor. It doesn't look that bad to me. Obviously, if he wants to put new lino down at some point, he can, and if he gets difficult with the fire, then I shall demand that he comes in and he lays new flooring here. But if he doesn't, then that shall probably be something that I write off as being okay. Anyway, so they left with all the new equipment in here, and the tiles back on the wall that had been plastered. And this was yesterday. They returned to paint it, and they've used 2 different types of paint. One paint for the wooden stuff, which is a sort of funny, almost sort of goldy brown colour, and they've painted everything that's wooden in that. I think it's a gloss paint, really. It looks like it's wet, but it's not. It's perfectly dry, so it's shiny. And basically that has gone for the window frames, which they have resealed. I don't know why. The landlord doesn't seem to like them being opened. They were opened briefly to allow for ventilation before the ventilator got put in. Anyway, that doesn't bother me. I mean, I don't really... It's so cold I wouldn't open the windows anyway, but there we are. And of course, the wooden blocking has been put back. It conceals the pipes, but I prefer, to be honest, it not be in existence, but there we are. They've also painted this. This is a boarded up door here from when this used to be a proper house before it was divided into flats. So they've redone that. The other paint was probably more of the same water-based paint that they used before, and they painted all of this. They also repainted this wall here. Now, they've not actually done anything with this wall here. They never stripped it because it was not a problem with the mould or anything like that. So they've done this. Today, and then we had a situation last night where they left, they wanted the heater on to dry it overnight so they could repaint for day 7, which was today. That's only, bear in mind, 1 week's actual work, 7 days. And I said no, and we got into a bit of a shouting match, and eventually he said, look, we're going to have it on, but we'll charge the landlord extra and we'll pass that extra on to you. And I said, fine. So we had it on for 1 day. But this morning I went out and I locked the Chubb lock, because there's 2 locks into my house, and for some reason the landlord only has 1, and that's the little latch. So I went out and I locked the Chubb lock, and of course he came and couldn't get in. It was an accident, but it looked really bad. It looked like because of the sort of argument we had the other day, I'd sort of been pissy about it. Anyway, he had to phone the landlord, and the landlord told him where I worked, and he came in and he got the keys, and you know, he was very nice about it, and the landlord hasn't come back to me about it, so there's obviously not the problem that I thought there might be. I thought, look, I said to him, leave the key in the house, leave it on the latch for when I get home at lunch. And I thought, you know, what he might do if he thinks that I've done this deliberately to keep him out is he may well lock the Chubb lock and then give the key to the landlord, so that when I come home at lunch I can't get in and I have to sort of confront the landlord. Thankfully he didn't do that. So I suppose we should be grateful for small mercies there. As for the fireplace, it's all been bricked up, it's all been painted, because of course this has had another coat of paint on today, but it's all dry now. It's all done. They haven't yet bought me this new electric fire. I wouldn't use it because it's too expensive, but I do want it. It's one of the demands that I'm not going to cave in on. I'm going to give him a week before I write and ask him about it if he hasn't got in contact with me, because he only has until the end of the year. If he gets stuffy at that point, I shall demand the floor as well. But if he just says, look, it's on its way, then I shall be fine with that. There is one concern, major concern, that I still have about this bathroom, and that's up in this corner. The paint has been on this here less than a day, and it's already peeling. Now I feel like it's peeling in this corner, because this corner was where the water came back through the plaster after the ceiling collapse had been redone, because they replaced the ceiling before they secured the outside roof. And this just makes me wonder if the plaster has been damaged there at all. I'm not sure what I'm going to do about this, to be totally honest, because it's sort of cracking already. I mean, you can see sort of there. He's literally only just finished painting this, and there are already signs of cracks and all sorts like that. I don't know what I'm going to do about that. Look, there's another one over there. I don't know. If they start spreading and getting worse, I will have to sort of say to the landlord, look, we've got cracks in the paint already. I don't know. I'm keeping an eye on it. Because I don't want them to accuse me of vandalism, you see.